and report that into the National Weather Service. But the way the winds blew here and what we estimated on radar, close to 70, if not stronger, wind gusts. It looks like it might have, I don't want to say it, but it might have weakened just a smidge, which would be good news. There's Kilgore, you're in line for these very strong winds. Overton right now, these very strong winds are on your doorstep. Power is out in White House. We'll go down here toward Mount Selman. In that Mount Selman area, again, these are not tornado-warned storms, but sometimes in these instances, you don't need a tornado warning to get tornado strength winds or even hurricane strength winds. So troop, it's right on your doorstep. So troop, within minutes, you're going to get some ferocious winds here. And that's going west. You can see some of the areas where there's also just some heavy rain causing some flash flooding. So Longview 154, Danville 159, Easton about 221, Marshall 227, Beckville 235, Grand Bluff 244. I'm wondering if we can zoom in here on Troop and kind of give everyone in Troop a heads up as to which part of the town that cell is moving in on. So it's going to zoom in on Troop. There's Mount Selman, there's White House, there's Troop. All right, so coming in 110 on Troop, it's just about there. If you live just west of Troop or near 135, you're experiencing the winds already. So the winds in here in this wind field, we have measured up to 80 miles an hour. But again, we're looking higher into the thunderstorm. But if you translate some of that, you transfer some of that power down to the surface, we'll go with at least 60, 65 miles an hour. And this has continued to be a very curious return on radar right now toward Mount Selman. And that return would tell us near Overton, this is a great picture here, Laird Hill, Overton, right in here. There's wind being drawn into this, so there's inflow here. And there may be some stronger winds aloft being transferred down to the surface and blowing out toward Overton. Lots of lightning showing up also, indicating that this is a strengthening thunderstorm at this time. New Chapel Hill, there's lightning and thunder. That goes back west. ARP right now is in the middle of this storm as it heads toward Turnertown, New London, Friars, Purtle, Kilgore, and Monroe. So if you live in any of those cities that I just mentioned, including Mount Selman, please, this is what you want to do. I know it's a severe thunderstorm warning, but this is the type of severe thunderstorm warning that you should head to shelter until this passes. Even though there's no tornado warning on this, we've seen damage with this storm, and it has blown a roof off of a house back in Van Zant County, and so I'm not sure that it's not doing some similar damage across the area. 135 into Troop, all right? There's County Road 21, I think 13. A few other county roads are showing up there on the maps for you, so you can pick those out. And if you see the county road that you live on, you know just how close that's getting. It's right now just moving into the center of Troop. So this is probably one of the stronger portions of this cell. And now it is over Troop. So it is pouring. Wind has already pushed through Troop. If there's some wind damage, you're experiencing it right now. We'll widen that out just a little bit. I want to look at back here at the north side of this towards Sinclair City, up to the west of Turnertown, New London. This is likely also a very strong wind signature. And in here, from Troop down just to the west of Mixon, Mixon's already been through the worst of the storm. But as this kind of pushes out with the wind, and then there's some rotation going on right in here because we're seeing winds being drawn into the thunderstorm, and then there's winds being pushed out from stronger winds below. Let's widen everything out. All right, so we have just a report of more than 3,000 power outages across East Texas. We'll widen this out and get a good wide perspective of this whole line here, and I'm going to show you a couple of things that we're looking at. All right, systems like this tend to form a low pressure area on their northern ends and on their southern ends, back here toward Mahia. Then in the middle of the system, you'll get an area of high pressure. Remember, wind is created by pressure differences, right? And so because these are so close together, you create strong winds right in this area here that increases, not only, you've got the winds aloft, which are increasing this time of day, add in that pressure difference that pushes and adds wind strength to these thunderstorms as they move through Smith County, Upshur County, and into Gregg County. So Longview, we'll zoom in on Longview here in just a second, but Longview's just about ready to get into some of these strong winds. And again, we've had 3,000 people lose power here tonight thanks to these very strong winds. And now the northwestern corner of Rusk County is also in the severe thunderstorm warned area. Northern Cherokee County still in the severe thunderstorm warned area. But it's really the leading leading edge of these cells, of this what we'll call a quasi-linear convective system. That's the technical term for this. The quasi-linear convective system, and you can have little spin-ups, but right in here is where we're going to find the worst winds, and they're going into northwestern Rusk County. Let's zoom in on that Longview area and Gregg County at this time, and we're going to show you these damaging wind gusts as they come into Longview. Right now, Longview is likely getting some very strong wind gusts toward Gum Springs. All right, power's out in Troop. So we talked about if you were watching in Troop, and maybe you're still watching on one of our streaming platforms or maybe on Facebook. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning. So let's click on that and bring you up to date on that. But the power lines are down and trees are down in White House, on Highway 110. So that's coming right south of Main Street. So that's coming right through, right by the elementary school. And then up into almost the center portion where a lot of businesses are on 110 as you head out of White House. So this is the new severe thunderstorm warning. This goes till 3 a.m. This is Rusk County and Panola County now. That includes the cities of Tatum and Henderson and Carthage. So let's put a timeline on that storm as that moves to the east, because this is the damaging portion of the storm. This has done damage now in White House. This has done damage or knocked the power out in Troop. But we're getting a lot of reports of power lines down in White House across Highway 110 at Main Street. So this right now. Sure.
About 10 minutes ago from Jay Brooks, Emergency Management, we have reports of four reports of trees on houses in the White House area came within minutes of one another. Also, we went over the social media power outages. Social media report of a tree branch just blew through my window in Tyler. That's from David Reimer. And let's see, I'm trying to update all the reports here.
Okay.
Multiple reports of trees down on White House. All right, we went over that. So it seems like White House right now really getting a lot of, if anybody could let us know specific street names.
Specific street names in White House, if you can hear Colleen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you live in White House, and you can reach out to us on Facebook or email us, let us know specific street names of where you know there might be damage in White House. Again, so this is the latest thunderstorm warning that's issued now till 3 a.m. And so, and again, I'm bringing these up, and this is not the type of storm that you just kind of like, because it's a severe thunderstorm. A lot of times we just kind of go about our business. This is the type of thunderstorm you want to get into a shelter. All right, so if you live in Henderson, you need to go to the center portion of your house, or maybe a closet or a crawl space or something of that nature. Easton at 213, Tatum at 221, Pine Hill at 230, Grand Bluff at 240, Carthage at 250. All right, because we know that the leading edge of this was first, as it was moving out of Van Zandt County into Smith County, National Weather Service put a considerable tag on it with the possibility of 70-mile-an-hour winds. We showed you on our radar how we were estimating inside that thunderstorm. Our radar was estimating up to 80-mile-an-hour winds. That's stronger than hurricane force. So that's what we've seen here, and that has done damage in White House, knocked the power out in Troop, maybe even done some damage there. We've had some damage reports in Tyler, and now that's headed out toward Lakeport and Henderson. So if you live in Henderson, it is time now to head to the shelter. No, it's not tornado warned, but still, this is shelter worthy because of the damage that it's causing. This goes back to Jacksonville, and you can see bullards now coming out of it. Tyler, the severe weather is over. The rain, some thunder will continue for the rest of the night. The severe threat is over in Tyler. In Longview, it is just kind of there right now to the north of Lakeport, moving through Longview at this time. In a few minutes, it'll move out of Longview and in eastern parts of Gregg County and eventually over toward Panola and Rusk County. Carthage is downstream a little bit. You're about an hour away from the thunderstorm making it to Carthage. These thunderstorms have really picked up momentum as they've been moving to the south and to the southeast. We saw that on some of our computer animations that we were looking at earlier today. And the fear is that when these things started to pick up steam, we knew that the winds within that thunderstorm, the storm relative winds, were also going to be very strong. So Colleen Campbell has put this into motion for you. You can just see how rapidly and this is moving. Now it looks like it's contracting just a little bit. I don't see the bow that we saw earlier, but maybe right in here, just north of Henderson, there may still be that push. In fact, now that I look at it, it looks like it's kind of reorganized, and there might be a strong another little push here south of Longview, north of Henderson, right here in northern parts of Rusk County, headed toward Tatum. That area is under a severe thunderstorm warning. We still have Smith County under the severe thunderstorm warning, even though the threat of severe weather has passed Tyler, but the southeastern portion of the county is still getting some strong wind, possibly here, maybe a downburst or something of that nature, and then Bullard down toward Jacksonville. Jacksonville, you're right on the edge of this. If you're watching us from Jacksonville on Facebook or watching us on CBS 19, we are streaming there. We are also seeing those gusty thunderstorm winds moving into that potential. Up toward Longview right now, it looks like we're getting maybe a few wind gusts up around Longview, and those will continue moving east up toward Marshall. Also some stronger wind gusts, but it's right in here that I have more concern about than anything. Down the line here, not warned, it does have a little bit of a bow echo shape to it, or maybe just a little bit of a linear shape to it down to the south in this area toward Jacksonville, Palestine, and Mejia. But Anderson County, by the way, is not under the tornado watch. We got the tornado watch for the counties in red. That'll go until 4 o'clock in the morning. Otherwise, on our tracking device here, Colleen, you can get rid of the tracking there. Just
I don't know how to get
hit
off
the
this.
red banner at the top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that'll erase it.
I don't know how to get it.
Yeah, I might have turned that on by accident while I'm over here. But yeah, right in here. So this is our next threat. And remember, this is the area that did damage in White House, and it continues to move into southern Gregg County and now into north central portions of Rusk County. So we could probably zoom in on that area there. We're going to ride this out with you as we walk everybody through these severe thunderstorms. Longview right now is in the middle. So the heaviest winds have passed Longview, headed toward Hallsville, okay? And then you have heavy rainfall right now. Kilgore is in the middle of some very heavy rainfall, likely possibly some flash flooding going on. Lots of lightning. In fact, if we turn lightning back on, you'll notice this lightning, and the lightning may have been responsible for some power outages. I know it knocked power out here. Maybe we took some wind that knocked our power out, but we lost power here at the television station for about 15 minutes, knocked the lights out here in the studio, knocked all of our equipment offline. It had to reset, but fortunately we can come back up and keep you guys informed about these storms as they continue to move to the east. But this is a tremendous amount of lightning. Where you find a tremendous amount of lightning, you're going to find a couple of things: a tremendous amount of rain, likely a little bit of hail in there, at least some ice crystals. And with that, you're finding yourself a very strong thunderstorm. So the mechanics of the thunderstorm are likely that you're getting some good wind coming into the thunderstorm and also being expelled out of the thunderstorm. So it's sort of like an engine where it's energy in, energy out, and the energy out here has just been greater than the energy in at this time. So right in here, maybe we can zoom into that southeast of Kilgore, west of Tatum, and kind of get an idea of where that little apex of this next little bow has set up. Now, I'm not 100% sure that we're seeing some damaging winds there, but that's a signature that sometimes can tell us that. All right, let's go to Jay Brooks from Smith County. He's on the phone with us. Jay, we've heard reports of some damage in Smith County. Good morning. I hope you're doing well, and what can you tell us?
Well, good morning. Yeah, we've definitely got some reports starting to come in quite rapidly, actually. But we've got damage, trees down all over the county, primarily in the south end. City of White House and the White House area has taken quite a hit. We've got several trees that are down on houses being reported right now. We've got emergency crews responding to those, and we've also got several reports of trees blocking roadways. 346 at County Road 15. We've got a tree down across that roadway, so 346 right now is closed, and we've also got a tree across the 110 and 346 area in downtown White House. So we've got emergency crews responding, and we're about to go out myself and survey some of this damage.
And that's just primarily in the southern portion of Smith County again?
Correct.
Okay.
So far, everything's been in the southern area.
All right, and are there any estimates that I've seen a wind estimate at 52 miles an hour out by the airport, but to me, these winds would have to be much stronger than that to do this kind of damage. Have you been able to assess in terms of, are any power poles down, or are these just trees down right now?
Well, there's trees, but we do have power lines tangled in them, so we do have power outages also being reported around the county. So I was in the Flint area when it came through. It was very significant. We also had some pea-sized hail here. Also had reports or heard reports of dime-sized hail over in the Noonday area. So the storms were very, very strong when they came through.
All right, Jay Brooks, Emergency Manager with Smith County. We appreciate your time this morning. Please be safe while you're out there checking out some of the damage. You're looking at damage here. I believe this is going to be Henderson County, and that's a tree that is down across probably a highway. Mata and Jelly Lopez, along with Jose Alonso, out in that area, and they are bringing those pictures to us. So we know we have damage from straight line winds, and this is south of Canton. So that was one of those reports of south of Canton along, I think it was 1861 near the Walton area, that we had some tree damage reported, or a tree across the road. And so that may be what we're looking at there. So we've had tree damage. Jay Brooks just told you about damage in White House. Look at the lightning. Wow, still a big lightning show out there. Trees down across roadways. We just don't need you to be out tonight. If you have to be out, you might want to avoid any area that you see, maybe power crews or something like that. Try to turn around, find an alternate route. Do not try to drive past those crews are working. We don't know where there might be some live lines down. And any power line that is down, do not touch. It could be a live wire. You do not want to be electrocuted in a situation like this. All right, we're going back to radar right now. And as we go back to radar, Colleen Campbell has us zoomed in here on that Henderson toward Longview, up toward Marshall area. So that's the next portion of the storm that we continue to track to the east. Look how fast this has moved out of Smith County. This was at Smith County just an hour ago. It was in western Smith County. Now it has moved all the way. The leading edge of this has moved into Panola County and Harrison County in the space of an hour. So it's likely the storm relative motion on this is likely 60 miles an hour, if not faster. And right in here, we continue. I don't know if you can see that, the little red and the green, that area just to the northwest of Henderson. That little area there would continue to tell us that there's potential. There's at least some wind shear going on within the thunderstorm, even though the velocity signature right there would say 25. That's in that one little small area south of Interstate 20 where the arrow is pointing, south and west of Longview. If you can get me back up on screen, that would be awesome so I can point out some of this. But Henderson, just to the northwest of that, between that little green and that bright area. And Colleen, if you kind of see it, there's a 40-mile-an-hour velocity signature, and that's in the red. Now, if we go down to the green area, we find out what's happening inside. We have a wide circulation there. So you're looking at gate-to-gate shear, 29, 37, so about 66 miles an hour. So there's some 66-mile-an-hour winds still blowing across southern portions of Smith County and northwestern parts of Rusk County. And that's headed to the east. So reports of damage tonight, and early this morning, reports of power outages, at least 3,000 folks without power tonight. And the reports continue to come in, and we continue to watch these strong winds move across northern Rusk County, western Panola, southern parts of Marion County, and southeastern Gregg County. So that's where the strongest winds are right now. If we go back to reflectivity, I'm going to give you some ideas of where you might be able to, we can clear some folks out in terms of where the strongest thunderstorms have passed. So Gun Barrel City, you're okay, all right? Pointer, you are out of the severe thunderstorm warnings right now. Also Athens and Tyler, Smith County, Mineola, Wood, and Upshur County. So you're looking generally at Henderson, northern Rusk, southern Gregg County, southeastern Smith County, still technically in the severe thunderstorm warning. But it looks like the biggest threat has now moved into Rusk County. And you've got Rusk County till 3 a.m. So it's currently 2:07. So you have about another 50 minutes for these thunderstorms to continue pushing south and eastward. Gregg County, that severe thunderstorm warning also goes until 3 a.m. But it's been this particular area here that has caused the damage. That's the area that moved out of Van Zant County. We first started picking up some damage reports there. And then it dropped southward past Pounds and then down toward Flint, White House, ARP. We had Troop, we had power outage Troop, maybe a little bit of damage in Troop. And then this continued moving eastward into Rusk County right now. So this would be an area over in northeastern Rusk County where we may be getting some wind damage as we speak. Again, okay.
Getting reports of power lines down and outages in the city of New London and northern Rusk County. and that's coming from Rusk County Emergency Management. So you were just talking about those strong winds out that way. Absolutely. We're getting reports of power outages out that way. And also our morning meteorologist, Chandler Jordan, he just stepped in, and he's saying that over in around the loop, all the lights, traffic lights are out there as well. So it looks like Smith County Skywarn is shutting down. So again, Smith County is in the clear, but now it's time to assess damage in that area. 30-mile-per-hour gust reported in Louisville, and that's from Emergency Management. So yeah, kind of just paying attention to this area that's still under that severe thunderstorm warning, Cass, Gregg, Harrison, and Marion counties. And again, we've had winds that have been pretty substantial. So again, we want to make sure those areas that are out to the east of this line around Henderson, areas like Tatum should be on the lookouts for these storms moving in. Stewart, it's right on your doorstep right now, right on top of Monroe. New Prospect also moving through New Prospect right now. So again, Henderson also about to get a good amount of wind out that way, frequent lightning, and of course heavy rain too. So this is something we're continuing to track for you guys. 2,300 people are out without power in Longview, according to SWEPCO. That's the report that we just got. So 23 people without power in Longview, according to SWEPCO. Again, keep these reports coming in. It's helping us. And if you have storm damage out in Smith County, you're now in the clear. So if you want to go ahead and inspect your yard, of course, you want to be careful. You don't want to step too far because there are power lines down, and also there could be some debris out there. So again, if you do decide to go outside and just take a little peek and see what you have in Smith County, you are clear. But again, let us know what you have and where you are located as far as the road goes. You can just send us a simple Facebook message. So we're getting frequent lightning. Lightning is starting to pick up as the storm continues to move out to the east. This is over in areas like, let's see, what's this road here? I just passed over it. I can't see with all the lightning.
Oh, 322?
322, okay. So 322, we're getting frequent lightning out that way, also some heavy rain, and of course those strong winds too. So not just like this is what we have to pay attention to, where we could get those significant winds that we've just had cross through here in Smith County, as well as over in Gregg County, Longview, with all those power outages reported. A place like Stewart, you should go ahead and go to your safe place just to be sure right now, because that storm is just outside of your doorstep. As far as updates on the National Weather Service chats, let's see. Okay, all right, so we're going to Highway 19 live with our Mara Anjali Lopez to see what we have. She was just out there a moment ago. Some trees down behind her. Mara, hi, how's everything out that way?
Hey, Colleen. Yes, it's very loud out here because we've got some Texas Department of Transportation crews that just came out. Let's just start to show you what is happening right behind me. We have found a tree that has been blocking South Highway 19 here. We were driving from Canton towards Athens, about 10 miles up the road, really close to Alligator Creek, and we have about 4 trucks that are stalled because of this tree that's blocking the roadway, and they can't get to their destination until this is all cleared up. As you can see, and probably hear, it is just very loud right now. They've got their equipment and they are just moving it out of the area. As far as the rain and everything that we're seeing, it's sprinkling, it's kind of coming down steady, and it is cold, colder than it was about maybe 3 hours ago, and we're seeing lightning strikes. So everything that y'all are talking about, we are seeing. But this is one of the first storm reports that y'all mentioned that was actually reported, and it is here, but they're working to clear it up. I'm sure they're probably going to have it over and done with here in the next 20 to 30 minutes, and traffic will likely be flowing as normal. So I'll just send things back to you guys in the studio, Colleen.
Thank you, Mara. All right, so stay safe out there, my friends. All right, checking on the velocity radar here. We're looking at the wind speeds. That's what we have been concerned about because we have had significant winds here in Smith County as well as Gregg County. We're getting power outages, and as Marangeli Lopez was just showing us, we have downed trees also across the region. Smith County, you're now in the clear. Gregg County, you're starting to be in the clear. I wouldn't step outside quite yet, but over in areas like Henderson, looking a little hairy. Tatum as well. We're seeing significant winds out that way. Likely 65, 70 mile per hour winds, maybe even stronger than that. At least that's what we think that we've had here in Smith County, rolled right on top of our station. Now, it wasn't a tornado warned storm. We have not had a tornado warning in East Texas yet tonight. However, that doesn't mean that we haven't had rotation, and it doesn't mean that those winds alone can't cause damage. They absolutely can. So again, we want you to be careful, and absolutely we are going to continue to warning these areas and riding this out with you. So Brett's going to go ahead and maybe zoom in here a little bit, or if we could pull up a reflectivity to see where the storm system's going. Now, we do want to mention that the Shreveport radar is down. So that might be why we are not getting the best radar signatures right now, because the Shreveport radar is down. So we have to depend on Lake Charles and other radar sites. So I think Lake Charles would be the closest one at this point, unless the one in Arkansas, I don't know if that one's activated or not, but
yeah, Fort Worth might still be closer, but it's between Lake Charles and Fort Worth.
Yeah, so we're really stretching thin here because Shreveport radar is down, and we have not had an update yet. I think they went down just before 2 a.m. around 1:45. So we have not had an update yet. All right, so here we go. This is what we have been looking at. We've been looking at these kind of notches right around. This was what's rolled over Smith County, moved into Gregg County. Strong, very strong winds, likely 70 mile per hour winds with these storms that have been forming. And it's these little notches right on the leading edge that give a little bit of rotation that we are thinking that, well, a tornado is definitely possible. Just because it wasn't a tornado warned storm, that sometimes happens, especially if the radar goes down. So this is why we are continuing to warn places like Tatum. And Brett, if we could put this at a standstill and maybe get a little closer. So Cass, Gregg, Harrison, and Marion counties still under this severe thunderstorm warning until 2:45 now. So that's actually been extended. This other warning goes until 3 a.m. That's for Gregg, Harrison, Panola, and Rusk. So again, areas like Tatum going to get hit with likely some strong winds pretty soon. And out by Carthage, you still have some time, so you should get in your safe place. But I'm really concerned with the areas kind of northeast of Carthage. If we could zoom in a little bit closer, maybe find some of these town names here, because you know, I would just pay attention to this little notch that we have here, because again, it's just indicating that we have some inflow. And since the Shreveport radar is down, you keep seeing how it goes back and forth, and it's getting a little bit funky. When the Shreveport radar is down, that's not really helping us, because that would be the closest radar site, but it got kind of knocked out there, I guess. So yeah, Tatum, Beckville do want to be on the lookout. We're getting significant heavy rain, frequent lightning. I'm sure we don't have the lightning tracker on here quite yet. We did take it off because there it goes. There is so much lightning that it was hard to see at one point. Moving over New Prospect right now. Henderson right in the heart of it, and then this is 64 right here out by Chapman. So Chapman lightly getting some strong winds blowing into the region right now. Look at this. So every now and again with every scan, and again it looks like that scan's coming out from Lake Charles, we're getting every scan a different view here. So it's very hard to rely on at this point, but we're just doing the best we can with what we have, what we can work with. So again, yeah, these areas. Okay, Brett, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm sorry. I just tried to go with storm relative velocity, but because we've lost that radar signal out of Shreveport, we're going to have to kind of rely on reflectivity mode. We're going to try to go old school here.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, all right, yeah. So again, as Brett was just saying, the Shreveport radar is out. So we're kind of working with what we have. That would be the Lake Charles radar, and we're going off reflectivity. But you see how we kind of have this bulging out here, and then we kind of have this dip inside. That means that we're getting a little bit of spin in there. And again, it's these winds that we really have been concerned about, because on this, as the storm progresses forward and continues to move eastward, we've really been getting winds kind of flowing out at high speeds, damaging speeds, and causing damage in areas like Smith County, Gregg County. We have power outages, trees down across roadways, kind of started off in Van Zandt County. And again, none of these storms tonight have been tornado warned. However, that doesn't mean that a tornado or brief spin up didn't happen. Remember, we live in the piney woods. This is an area that's just built around pine trees. When it's dark, when it's rain wrapped, it's kind of hard to see, even for those radars. And we're in between two radar sites on top of that. So again, right now, all over on the velocity, it's really not showing a lot. But again, is Shreveport radar back up? Or
Yep,
are we,
Shreveport radar is back
awesome.
up. Just came back up.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so Shreveport radar is back up. So we like that. But I'm not seeing anything that's sticking out. Are you, Brett, that's showing high winds? I mean, we have some brighter colors out there, but earlier we were seeing like little red kind of polka dots in between the greens. That was just indicating, hey, we have some winds that are really kind of
let me show you this.
down.
There's these little pockets here that are popping some
Those
60
brighter,
yes, popping some 60-mile-an-hour winds right around the just west of Tatum, west of Beckville.
Okay, all right, yeah. So we still have 60-mile-per-hour winds out that way. So again, Beckville, Pine Hill, the areas in between Beckville and Pine Hill should be careful. Get to your safe place if you can, because damage has been caused, and all it takes is a tree coming down on your house. God forbid, we don't want that. But again, Durgeon, I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong, just on top of Stewart right now. Frequent lightning coming out from Monroe. New Prospect also seeing some lightning out that way. Tatum, again, moving towards your way. 65-mile-per-hour winds. Brett, where'd you lay that placer down?
Right there on between Durgan and New Prospect.
Okay, so between Durgan and New Prospect, we're getting 65-mile-per-hour winds. Folks, this is what we had here in Smith County. This is why we went off the air. We didn't go off the air because we wanted to. Those winds came through and knocked us off the air. So this is what we are warning you about. Please get to your safe place, because even if it's not a tornado warned storm, a severe thunderstorm warning with 65-mile-per-hour winds, 70-mile-per-hour winds, that's close to hurricane force winds. We want you to be careful. All it takes is a little bit of damage, a tree coming down, power lines down. It's something that you do not want. So please get to your safe place if you're in areas like Tatum, Durgeon, and Beckville. So Brett, could we get oh, there he goes. All right, perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do a little track here to
putting
get you.
a tracker on for you guys, so we can get a couple more town names up here. So that'd be good.
I want to look at where we have these. Like we know we have the 65-mile-an-hour winds there to the northwest of Pineville. I'll just circle that real fast for you. So this is the area that we're concerned about with the very strong wind gusts.
Okay.
So then we'll track this out here and kind of get you up to date on, let's see, right there.
And you can see these brighter colors here. That's where Brett's kind of picking this up. All right, so he's pulling this out to the northeast just slightly, and it looks like if it went on this track, these winds, these 65, almost 70-mile-per-hour winds, Chapman 222, Tatum at 234, Beckville 239, 250, Grand Bluff, DeBerry at 306, and Panola at 314. So within the next half hour, 45 minutes, some of these areas like Panola likely being the last, would be getting these strong winds. So please, please, please go to your safe place. 65, 70-mile-per-hour winds, not a good thing, especially if you are surrounded by trees, tall trees at that, older trees, something that you do not want. So again, here's the reflectivity. Now that we have Shreveport radar up, that's great. We're getting our next scan. There it goes. All right, so you can see a little bit of a divot here, okay, and we have some hatching on this severe thunderstorm warning. So that means that a tornado is probable, and that we have those very strong winds that are in excess of 65 miles per hour. Looks like, okay, I was going to say the screen went out for a second. Gregg, Harrison, Panola, and Rusk counties under the severe thunderstorm warning until 3 a.m. And again, we are asking you, if you are under the severe thunderstorm warning, please take it seriously. Please go inside an interior room, inside a hallway, inside your bathroom, long as you're away from windows. You don't want to be near any knickknacks. If your house is surrounded by older trees, please make sure you're in a safe place with some shelter. Over in Cass, Gregg, Harrison, and Marion counties, those counties are under the severe thunderstorm warning until 2:45. But again, it's this area, this box. If they could, okay, Brett's going to bring it up here. All right, we have 19. We just got a report of 19,000 people in Smith County without power. So again, that's 19,000 people without power in Smith County. All right, 2:23 a.m. Pine Hill, 2:36 a.m. Delray, Carthage at 2:47. This is that notch. You see that notch, Brett Anthony, I'm not on screen right now, but Brett Anthony did put that little tracker on there, because that notch is seeing there just north of Pine Hill. That's something that we need to pay attention to, because that looks like we're getting some inflow, and yeah, we could have some very, very, very strong winds out that way.
Yeah, it could definitely be an area of rotation for sure. So yeah, that would be the area. I'll circle that for you just in case anybody is wondering what we're talking about. It's right here. So that's our area of rotation.
Bingo, yeah.
Yeah, that looks like we could possibly, and it doesn't, we don't know how fast something could spin up. It's nighttime, it's tough to see. And again, we've been talking about how, I know it's a severe thunderstorm warning, but this is the type of severe thunderstorm warning that you go to shelter. So if you're in Carthage, you go to shelter. Those hatched lines there mean that there's a tornado possible within this severe thunderstorm warned cell. So yeah, there are even some stronger winds upstream a little bit here toward Tatum, just south of Marshall, right in this area. I can't rule out that we wouldn't have a strong wind gust within that part of the cell that could produce some damage. We know this is a damage-producing cell, a line of showers and thunderstorms that has caused damage in Smith County. It's caused damage in Van Zant County, Rusk County, Henderson County. We've also had reports. I think that's where Mata and Jelly Lopez has been. So that's what we're faced with right now in those some of those towns about Beckville, Elysian Fields, DeBerry, Greenwood, Lake Hayes, and Summer Grove are all within that. Now it's starting to get closer to the Louisiana border. Once this moves over to Louisiana, our problems, our troubles are over for tonight, and then we will not have to worry about severe weather for the rest of the night. But right now, we have these continued concerns over some of these cells. And again, it doesn't look that impressive, Colleen, but just looking at some of these bright greens, we know within those bright green areas, and now we're getting closer to the radar. So you know that these are, when you see green, this is winds coming toward the radar. Red would be going away from radar. Before we had you might have seen a minus 65 velocity. That was sampling from Lake Charles. So it was going away from the Lake Charles site. Or at least Fort Worth if it was headed to Fort Worth if it was headed to the east. So there's still some very strong winds within here, just north of Pine Hill. Right now we have that severe thunderstorm warning. I'm going to drop the warning off so we can look at some of the wind gusts within there, and you can call these out. So this is going to be north of Pine Hill. So that's not bad, 51. I'll go upstream toward Tatum a little bit. Still, so it looks like a consistent 51. I mean, this would be good news if we're starting to see a little weakening on that cell. Just seeing some bright greens in there, though, that tell me that there might be a stronger wind gust. 49, so that sampling's not bad. I'll put this back into motion. Okay. Oops. All right, so maybe still severe thunderstorm with a tornado possible tag on that. But I think that was because of that signature that we're seeing, don't you think, on that little like reflectivity notch?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Toward Pine Hill.
Yeah, it looks like that kind of broadened out a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, it does, right?
But you never know. I mean, that's just with one radar scan, so we'll see within the next couple of minutes here what happens. But it looks like it could, if it wanted to, it could dig in a little bit more. So
yeah, it could recycle again for sure. I mean, or it just might be, gusting out. But that goes until 3 a.m. That's the severe thunderstorm warning. Power outages reported by Henderson police on the western portion of town. So Henderson in Rusk County, we showed you the cell moving through that portion. And now Henderson PD is reporting a roof blown off a building in downtown Henderson.
Oh, wow.
So more damage with that portion of the cell. We're getting a lot of reports of damage out of these winds.
Yeah,
But
now that the people are, now that everybody's starting to come out, the areas that are clear, like Smith County, Henderson County, Van Zant County, now we're getting the reports. People are going to be waking up in the next couple hours. I'm sure we're going to have just a plethora of reports tomorrow because, and let me tell you, those winds were pretty intense here in Smith County, and that's why we're warning everybody that's in this box right now that it's a severe thunderstorm warning, but this is the type of severe thunderstorm warning, we've said this several times, that you need to take shelter for. Greg, Harrison, Panola, Rusk counties, we're talking to you. That's because, well, you see a little bit of a notch there just north of Pine Hill. Brett has a nice little pointer there. We apologize there. We did go off the air earlier. That's why we're not on the TV screen right now. We're just talking to you over graphics, but it's okay. We're working through this together. So that little notch there, that's something that we're paying close attention to see if that digs in a little bit deeper, because if it does, that means that there is possibly some rotation out that way. And then also notice that there is winds gusting out by Beckville. Beckville, we have some winds. It's probably going to be pretty intense there over in Grand Bluff. So, and the area is just south of Grand Bluff. So also some strong winds out that way likely. So that's an area that's kind of gusting out as the storm continues to progress off to the east. Also some frequent lightning out there. And again, this is all under that severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 3 a.m. Greg, Harrison, Panola, Rusk counties, please go to your safe place if you can. And awesome, we have a little bit of a closer view here. So that looks like Interstate 79 out by Chapman. So if you live in Delray, go to your safe place right now, because you are in that area that has that little bit of a notch. So absolutely, there could be some rotation. This is a hatched severe thunderstorm warning, which basically means that there is a chance, we're saying there's a chance, that there could be some rotation out there, and it could be tornado warned. It's not tornado warned right now, but hey, we haven't had any tornado warnings for our area, and we've seen significant damage, power outages in so far Rusk County, Smith County, Gregg County, Henderson County, Van Zant County. These are all areas that are now beginning to be in the clear. Gregg County is an exception from that for now. And these are areas that have reported some damage with roofs blown off. So, and none of those were under a tornado warning either.
Yeah, and the Henderson, reports of building being blown off in downtown Henderson. That's the part of the cell that now is at just passed through Pine Hill.
Okay.
So that's the part that I just put the track on.
Yes. So Grand Bluff 233, which is 2 minutes. Grand Bluff, you should absolutely be in your hiding place right now. 244, I can't read that, I'm sorry. 244 Rancombe. Okay, there I am again, hello. 249 Carthage, 316 Logan, and then that name of that town, anybody that could help me out there, maybe in the back.
Chandler, what do you think?
Keechee?
Keechee?
Keechee.
That's a new one on me.
Maybe Keechee.
That's a new one for us. We'll have to road trip to Keechee. But being serious here, we really do want to take these storms seriously, please. Every now and again, we do like to be playful, but at the same time, these are storms, severe thunderstorm warnings that you do want to take seriously and go into your safe place, because again, we just sound like a broken record, but we are getting damage reports of roofs blown off, power lines down, trees across roadways over several counties. And the one cell that we're paying attention to, this one that just came out from Henderson County that just caused damage, caused some roofs to blow off downtown in Henderson County, now just exiting Pine Hill. So some strong winds blowing out here right along Interstate 79, or Highway 79, excuse me. So you do want to be cautious and careful and go to your safe place, an interior room, windowless room. Please take this seriously. So here's some of those towns that we're looking at if this continues to travel off to the east, which it will. So this severe thunderstorm warning goes until 3 a.m. Brett, did you want to bring off, or Chandler bring up velocity radar again? And
Yeah, I can in just a second. We're still, this just came to us from the emergency manager, I believe, around Rusk County,
Okay.
Terry Linder, and he says still getting reports of mostly minor wind damage around Henderson. County reported large tree across US 259 between Henderson and Kilgore. EMS reporting small trees and debris across FM 225 south of Henderson, and that comes from the Rusk County Emergency Operations Center. I'll go back to velocity here so you can see what we're dealing with.
okay.
So yeah, more damage coming out of Rusk County right now, and we'll switch this over here to velocity, or at least storm relative. But storm I like the velocity just because I think it's giving us a true picture of the wind tonight.
Oh yeah, absolutely, which has been pretty important, I'd say,
Yeah,
as
and
far as, you know.
You see these strong winds are just about to move into Carthage. So
Yeah.
hopefully if you're in Carthage, you're finding your shelter. I know it's a severe thunderstorm warning, and sometimes folks will be like, it's a severe thunderstorm warning. I've been through 100 of these, but this is different.
Especially in the mobile homes.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of mobile homes out in Carthage. You know, just from doing storm damage, you know, reports from previous storms out in Carthage. I know there's a couple homes out there, but you do not want to, at this point, you cannot evacuate if you're in Carthage. You need to just find the best spot that you can. You know, make sure you're away from any windows. If you know that there's a tree close by to a particular room, navigate away from that room if you're in a mobile home. So yeah, at this time, if you're in a mobile home and you live in Carthage, you do not want to go outside. Try to stay inside. Just find the best shelter that you can. Be away from any windows, away from any trees. If you're parked near any trees, you do want to make sure you kind of navigate towards the other end of your home or your location, because a lot of reports are coming in of down trees, down power lines, and roofs blown off. So again, this is all things that we want to warn you about and things that you should worry about. So
you know, in this velocity signatures, I'm scanning. Here's a stronger one at 55 miles an hour, right? I'll show you where in just a second. It's up here toward DeBerry, and that seems to be about the strongest wind signature, near 50 right now that I can find. So yeah, these it may have weakened a little bit. Again, it's tough to tell. The radars, I mean, Shreveport's closer to the radar there, so it looks like, and it is a warned storm. So there's got to be some potential there for at least 65 mile an hour wind plus. But I think maybe the bigger, even though we're not seeing much rotation within that, but just when you look at that reflectivity and that little sort of that extension.
yeah, you can see out by DeBerry now.
Yeah, so that's why. Oh yeah, up there toward DeBerry, there's that little bit of a notch too that's trying to pop up and sneak out. And you know, sometimes you get these little notchy tornadoes southwest of Elysian Fields. These things can
Looks
spin
like a little
up.
bird.
Yeah, it does, right? But these things can be really, and it can be down and up before you even pop a warning on it.
And there's my favorite place, Elysian Fields. Remember, we went over that the last
Oh, yeah,
on
that's
March
right.
21st, Elysian Fields. My friends out there, I had a couple people write to me and tell me how to pronounce it. So hopefully I'm getting it right now.
There's Holland Quarters. Yeah, these are really broad rotations, a lot of wind in there for sure. Let me see if there's any shear markers on these. I'll just pop that off, and any shear tracks across. There's a few shear tracks that have been showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's definitely some stronger wind gusts within some of these. Let's see, there's one right there. That just shows you the warning again. Anyway, yeah, there's a little bit of shear going on and some stronger thunderstorms with these cells for sure. All right, I'll widen it back out. I'm going to go back to reflectivity just so we can kind of, again, get a better feel for what's, you know, the trouble too on some of these is you'll get, as hard as it's raining, it looks like that feature's kind of softening a bit. It's raining so hard that some of these could potentially be, you know, even rain wrapped on the leading edge of that. So, but that's one area that Colleen was talking about. Here's the other area down here toward Carthage. So there's wind flow coming into the thunderstorm here, and then these stronger winds that have developed behind this. In many ways, this is sort of a classic textbook what I call line echo wave pattern or a quasi-convective linear system. So you get a little area of low pressure, and this sort of becomes its own beast. A new severe thunderstorm warning issued there. So let's go to that one. Okay, so that's going to be what looks like Panola County eastward
Yeah,
till 3:30. So that's going to be, this is likely going to be our last warning of the night. So this is going to get to the, once it gets east of Carthage, we'll have this severe thunderstorm warning until we get to the Louisiana border. Then it'll move over to Stonewall and Mansfield. And so this is likely our last severe thunderstorm warning of the night. But still warned because that cell still exhibits a few features on it that are concerning in terms of strong wind gusts and the potential for a brief tornado. That's what that dashed line is. See that right there? So that's tornado possible. We had this earlier tonight with a considerable tag on a severe thunderstorm warning, and that considerable tag meant that the wind gusts were believed to be 70 miles an hour. I think that verified with some of the damage reports that we've heard. And like we said, we showed you inside our radar how it looked like we were picking up, at least estimated from our radar vantage point, shooting that beam a few thousand feet into the cloud, yes, but it was indicating that there could have been an 82 mile an hour wind at one point and all that. So take a little bit away from that, thinking that sometimes you lose a little momentum as you get down closer to the surface. You're still looking at a significant wind event there. So this is moving it out to the east. Colleen Campbell's tracking this for us. So Panola is 242. And again, as we've said, this isn't the type of thunderstorm. You get a severe thunderstorm warning, and there might be a pocket of wind that's like 58 miles an hour. And, you know, sometimes you can watch these from your front porch, your back deck, or something like that. This is a damage-causing wind event here with 70-plus mile-an-hour winds, and this continues now to move into Carthage. It'll be interesting to see what Carthage experiences out of this thunderstorm as the leading edge of that moves into eastern Panola County. So it's just one of those kind of situations where you've got on the leading edge wind, that initial wind threat, once that's over, and it probably lasts, 15, 20 minutes, then you settle into heavy pouring rain, and then behind that, it's just kind of what we call stratiform rain, lasts, you know, a good hour, hour and a half or something like that, so it just kind of settles in. So that's what we're looking at right now in terms of that storm. So that's one of the remaining storms that we're possibly looking at. Let's go southwest of Carthage and check out another little cell to the southwest. I was just looking at something, and I thought maybe there might have been a feature back here down toward Mount Enterprise. Unless we're not picking up the entire, unless it's right in here, but that's not warned. This little portion of the storm, right, maybe just to the north and east of Mount Enterprise. Maybe zoom in on that just a little bit. Yeah, there it is. So that little bit of a little notch trying to pop up to the southeast of Laneville, right here at Mount Enterprise, 259 Highway 84. So I'm in Mount Enterprise. I know that's not warned. If you live in Dotson, Mount Enterprise, just head to your shelter right now. Yeah, see how that just kind of tried to curl up there, kind of. So a little, I doubt that. Sometimes we get like a little scatter, a hail scatter. But there's not much hail in that, so that could be something trying to wrap up. Would not be surprised. This time of night, the winds were forecast, especially close to the Louisiana border, to increase just a little bit. So if that indeed is happening, we need to keep an eye on that storm. That's on Highway 84, just to the east now of downtown Enterprise. But if I was in Dotson, I'd probably think about just heading to my shelter, even though you don't have a warning right now, just to be safe. I just think that's the best idea. All right, let's widen that back out, and we can see we've got the other thunderstorms down toward Rusk. These are non-severe. Everything back here is non-severe. So you've outrun all the energy back here, even though the frontal boundary is way to the south. Cherokee County still remains in that tornado watch until 4 a.m. Then we come out here to the east, and we have those cells, those thunderstorms that are in parts of Panola County right now. It looks like Shelby County is outside of any type of thunderstorm warning currently, but it's been this particular cell here. We go all the way back to Van Zant County, across Henderson County. This is essentially what it's done. So it's dropped out of Henderson. There it is. So this is what we started with. That was about 1 in the morning. Across Smith County, see that? We had a little swirl there. We had another one there over northern Cherokee. Henderson, we had a building with the roof knocked off right there. Then we continue eastward, and now we're just wondering what's happening in Carthage. I don't see signatures that would be indicative of that, but you've got a long-lasting, probably wind event in terms of straight line winds all the way from Van Zant across southern Smith County into Rusk County and into Panola County. All right, so we've got an update here on power outages. We're going to go to Encore right now, and they were on the phone with us, so let's find out current power outages. Hello, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. How are you? Well, no problem. Thank you.
Hey, Tom. This is Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. Thanks for taking time out. Can you bring us up to date on power outages as it stands right now?
Yes, those strong winds came through East Texas, and we're seeing quite a few outages in eastern Henderson County and then throughout Smith County. Right now, we're just over 22,000 customers out in the East Texas region. Mostly within the Tyler area and Smith County.
That sounds like
we've got.
That sounds like a significant number. 22,000. That's a large number of power outages, isn't it?
When you have high winds coming in like this, where you have trees that can go down over power lines, it can knock out a significant number of customers at one time. So we've got folks that have been on call, and we're getting everybody in and getting them out there to try to assess the damage right now.
Okay, we're looking at a live picture right now at White House where there is some power lines down there. Can you tell us how can people best help you all out get the power lines back up? What were some things you would ask the public to do if they'd see, in regards to the power being out and power lines down?
If you see a power line down, first thing to do is stay away. Don't go near it. Stay as far away as you can. Call 911, and the police will come, or the fire department will come, and they'll block off that area until we can get over there and make it safe.
Okay.
So the first thing to do is stay away. Then let us know, call 911, let them know that you see a power line down. If you see a tree down near power lines, where it could be in there, stay away from it. Call 911. Let them know that there's a tree down in the power lines, and they will let us know about it as well. If you do see a line down, the biggest help for us is stay away from it.
Okay, and a lot of folks who are watching tonight probably want to know, when is my power coming back on? Any estimation? I know it's early, but how many hours does it typically take for you guys to restore a line in this type of situation?
Well, when you have straight line winds that come through and there's a mass damage in an area, which we're just getting reports in, so I do know that we have trees down in like White House and over in ARP in other areas in town. But it just takes a little bit of time to go, identify what the trouble is, and then get the right personnel out there to fix it. And so be patient with us. We've got folks out there looking and working as hard as they can to get the power back on. But we'll try to get it on as fast as possible. It's hard for me to give a time estimate at this point in time because we're just trying to get a feel for what all damage was caused by those winds.
All right, Tom Trimble with Encore, thank you very much for taking time this morning and bringing us up to date. All right, so there's radar again. We want to go live now to Nirali Jaiswal. She's in White House where there is lots of damage. Nirali, what are you seeing out in White House?
Yes, I'm in White House on Highway 110 and FM 346. The power is clearly out. You can see the traffic lights are out, and the officers are out right now, putting up some barricades and some stop signs to control the traffic. All the houses down the neighborhood are all out of power as well. I spoke with the officer to see when approximately the power will be on, and he says they don't know yet, but they're doing what they can to just control the traffic and just keep everyone safe. The rain is pretty light right now, but the roads do look really slick, and the winds are moderate. They're not too heavy right now, but it kind of goes and comes in phases. But that's about all we see right now. The rain also kind of picks up a little bit and kind of goes in waves as well. But we'll give you more live updates right here on CBS 19 from White House. Nirali Jaiswal.
Thank you very much, Nirali. All right, so we're taking a look again here at our CBS 19 radar, and as we were just talking here in the Weather Center, it looks like this is flattened out a little bit. The reflectivity has come down just a little bit, so this is certainly a cell that looks like it's in more of a weakening mode, and so it may have just simply exhausted out as much wind as it could. Severe thunderstorm warning does continue until 3:30 on that cell, but notice that it is now moving into eastern parts of Panola County. So Carthage is now coming out from underneath the cell. East side of town is still getting hammered, but out to the east toward Highway 79 up to Louisiana border, up toward Interstate 20, that is still looking at the possibility of some stronger winds. When we were doing some wind inspections inside that storm, we were getting 51 to about 55 mile-an-hour wind gusts. Can't rule out that there wouldn't be a brief stronger wind gust, but back toward Carthage, that severe thunderstorm warning portion of the storm and even into Harrison County goes until 3 a.m. So that's about another 12 minutes on this portion. But again, probably the damage causing or potentially damage causing part of the cell is out here in southeastern parts of Panola County, just getting ready to move over onto the Louisiana side of the border. But this has been quite the line of thunderstorms that has marched across East Texas here tonight, starting at about 1 a.m. back at Van Zant County. And think about this, in 2 hours, in less than 2 hours, this has gone from here to here. So it is moving over land, probably 60 miles an hour, maybe closer to 70 miles an hour. And so that means that there are winds aloft that were pushing the storm that fast. There are winds aloft pushing the storm that fast. Some of that gets translated down to the surface, and that's why we've had this widespread wind damage event across the area tonight. All across Smith County, wind damage reported. White House, ARP, Flint, Troop, Henderson, report of a building roof blown off there, and now we get into, we've had several reports of trees from between Henderson and Gregg County, and then we get into Panola County, and we still have the severe thunderstorm warnings continuing. Back here to the southwest of this, these do not look like severe cells at this time. They do not have the structure, appearance that the other cells have. So we'll wait. I would imagine that this portion of the tornado watch that goes until 4 a.m. may be expired early. We know Smith County is in the clear. The warning was expired, and it looks like Smith County may have been dropped from the tornado watch as the threat has ended. Same thing for Gregg County and Longview, Wood and Upshur for Mineola and Gilmer, and up toward Marion County. Harrison County still probably in it just because you have that little portion of the storm, and even that part now is moving into Louisiana. So we're just hanging on to this little sliver here that'll go for about the next, I'd say 12 to 15 minutes, and then once that gets out of here, then we are done with our thunderstorm threat for the night, and we will go back and then we will assess what we are finding. Of course, we'll have more coming up on the morning loop. That starts at 5 a.m. and throughout the day tomorrow here on CBS 19, and we can get up to date on our web platform, cbs19.tv. We've been streaming there. We've been on Facebook. We've been trying to bring you just the information. We started on air when this storm moved over here into parts of Van Zant County as it was approaching Henderson County. That's when we came on. And then as this storm moved across Smith County and the city of Tyler, we took a hit here at the TV station, knocked our power out, knocked us off air. We scrambled, got back on for you, and then you could see that's the portion that moved through Troop and Flint. And then we came on here with these areas moving across into Henderson County, and we've been riding this out ever since. And anytime you've seen some of these dashed lines, that is a either considerable tag, meaning there were wind gusts close to 70 miles an hour, or we had a severe thunderstorm with the potential for a tornado. And that needed to be watched very carefully. It would be interesting to see tomorrow if the Weather Service decides to do any sort of surveys on some of the damage. It may be all straight line, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. There could be could have been a quick spin up, especially in something like this. Sometimes you'll have those. We've seen a couple of signatures on velocity that have indicated the potential for something like that. Most of the time, though, it's been more or less straight line wind gusts that were, again, as they were moving out of Van Zant into Smith County, we picked up an estimated wind gust close to 80 miles an hour. And so, Colleen Campbell, that was a pretty impressive wind signature to see there. And it seems like the strongest winds tonight were really from western Smith Probably through Henderson County, I'd say is where
Yeah.
we're, yeah.
Yeah, I would say far eastern Van Zandt going into Smith County and then Henderson County. That's where we're getting the bulk of the reports right now. We've had a few straggling reports come in from Rusk County, but I would say the most significant reports that we've had would be in Smith County, and that could just be a matter of, everybody's just closer to us here at the station, or it could be that, well, we had the strongest winds in that region. So tomorrow, as Brett just said, it will be interesting to see how many reports come in. So what we're doing right now is we're just kind of hanging out with you guys and waiting. It's a waiting game, as it often is in meteorology, and we're just waiting to see what's going to happen here. So as Brett was mentioning, the strongest winds on the leading edge of this cell. This is the troublesome cell that's really been sticking with us over the last couple hours now, and it's just starting to exit. We're like, go, please go. Just starting to exit out from our viewing area and starting to move into far eastern Louisiana, or far western Louisiana, far eastern Panola County for us. So as soon as that's out of there, we will be in the clear. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning goes until 3:30, but again, you have to remember that a couple of the parishes in Louisiana are under that, so that's why that warning is out until 3:30. But as far as Panola County goes, I mean, we're just holding on and waiting for this to exit out. Past Carthage now. Carthage, you can come out. I think you're okay. Over in Smith County, we have been in the clear for quite some time. Longview, go to bed, rest your head, you'll be all right. Gilmer also looking okay. Henderson in the clear. There are a few cells down here that we're keeping our eye on, but again, these are not warned cells. I'm shedding. These are not warned cells. It's just a few clusters of some heavier rain out that way. And I don't believe that I have the lightning on here, but the lightning frequency also started to, there it goes. Thank you, Chandler. So we still do have frequent lightning out by Carthage. Obviously, that's where we're looking at the severe warned storm and the strongest storms. Still some lightning kind of lagging behind there over in Henderson. So I know many of you are probably thinking, am I in the clear? Can I go to bed? There are a few cells, as I mentioned here, that are not warned that we do have our eye on. But right now, as Brett was just saying a moment ago, they don't have the shape or the characteristics that we have been seeing with the cell that has been causing the trouble that we tracked over from Van Zandt. And hey, this, if you were with us way earlier in the night, we had our eyes on this thing. We were looking at this just starting to enter into Van Zandt County. We were saying, it looks a little hairy. So yeah, this is something that we have been tracking for quite some time. So this particular cell just starting to exit far eastern Panola County and moving into far western Louisiana. So pretty soon it won't be our problem anymore. Carthage, the bulk of it just moved over your area, but we still do have these little clusters kind of riding down to the south there that we do have our eye on. Really, this thing is kind of falling apart. There's just some lightning left over. Still need to be careful with lightning, of course. And as far as the winds, well, the strongest winds, again, mainly along this leading edge, which is now pushing into Louisiana. So that's some good news. But we're going to stick with you here. It looks like the one warning was dropped, of course, and this warning goes until 3:30. It does still have a tag on it for being, how strong it has been in the past and what it could do. But yeah, see, we have this little cluster here that just wants to give us trouble for tonight. So this was probably the cell that we were saying over by Mount Enterprise. I'm assuming that's the one that we were saying, hey, look out. So kind of, came out from down that way and just started to add on to the conga line. So
Yeah, that's it.
yeah.
That was it.
That's the cell.
That's the
okay,
one.
so that's the one that we were just talking about at Mount Enterprise. We said be on the lookout, even though you weren't under the warning. Go to your safe place. So now that cell is kind of joining the party here in Panola County, and it looks like it wants to give a little bit of a kind of notch there, but it's pretty broad, I think. But so Gary City. That's what we're looking at right now. And this is where we've seen those significant winds. So really this has been a wind event. And again, we're probably going to get a lot of reports tomorrow morning. So Gary City, you should be on the lookout for some hefty winds out your way, if anything. And then areas that are just to the east of Carthage, also some stronger winds out your way too, and some frequent lightning as well. So again, some of these areas, if you're just on that border of Louisiana, it's right on top of you right now. So again, be in your safe place. Hopefully you're listening to us online in your safe place, away from any windows. If you know that you have a tree closer to one end of your house, don't go to that end of the house. I mean, just thinking ahead here. So again, Carthage, you look like you're good. Dotson, you're okay. This, again, historically has been the line of storms that we've been tracking ever since Van Zandt County moved through Henderson County, Smith County, even portions of Rusk County. And the majority of the reports coming in from around Henderson and Smith County and Van Zandt County too. We've gotten reports of roofs blown off. We've gotten reports of power lines down. A lot of folks, I think they said, what, Brett, 22,000 people without power tonight. Yeah. And
it's like 20,000 in Smith, and there might be 2,500 in Rusk and Gregg.
So that's just Smith, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So.
and 2,000 up in maybe Van Zandt and 2,500 in Henderson. So you're looking at over 30,000 people across the area without power.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a lot.
So yeah, it certainly is.
Yeah.
So again, it's really just this little cluster. What was the name of the town that was there?
Oh,
With the G.
was Tenaha? Oh, it was Gary City.
Oh, Gary City. Yeah.
And if I'm going to go back to velocity one more time, and then we might wrap up our coverage here, just because we haven't had any reports of anything out of that area. And it looks like it's fairly weakened.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
let's do a little search here on some of the wind speeds, and I'll take that off for just a second, and I'll just do an off-air wind speed search. So 45, 41, getting near Gary City. So yeah, so that's definitely come down quite a bit. So so I'll go back and then I'll just wrap us up on our coverage, and we will be done for the evening. That was meteorologist Colleen Campbell. Thank you very much for all of your effort tonight and all your help. Appreciate it. Yep. We got everybody through this line of showers and thunderstorms. Again, this little cell is going to move out of here. This warning does go till 3:30, but that stretches off onto the Louisiana side. So it is now 3 a.m. The threat of severe weather is over for East Texas. We appreciate your time and your patience with us tonight on Facebook, on our streaming platform. Make sure to join in with the Morning Loop beginning at 5 a.m., just 2 hours from now, for complete coverage of this evening's storm. Have a safe morning, everyone.
A genocide. The global outcry tonight as Russian forces pull back to regroup. The refugee crisis.